Hey everybody, so you just heard a part of the Rocky theme song, and that is because for today's movie review, I'm going to be talking about a boxing comedy that is loosely based off of Rocky Balboa and Jake LaMotta from Raging Bull by Martin Scorsese. In Grudge Match, you guys, it's a new film by Peter Segal. Peter Segal has worked on other comedies in the past, like 50 First Dates and Get Smart. But in this film, basically, there's these two boxers similar to Rocky Balboa and Jake LaMotta. That's pretty much probably what they were based off of during the writing process of the movie. Sylvester Stallone plays a boxer in this named Razor Sharp, and Robert De Niro plays a boxer named Kid McDonough. That's his name, Kid McDonough. And they've had these huge boxing careers. You know, they go for the heavyweight champion of the world. Um, and everybody is anticipating them to have this huge fight against each other, this so-called grudge match. But it never happens because basically, well, actually, they fight each other. I think one of them wins once, and then the other one wins another time. But there needs to be another one to officially declare who the official winner is between the two of them. But that grudge match never happens. So what happens was Razor Sharp retired, and that fight never happened. Though Kim McDonough did box a little bit longer than Razor Sharp did, his career never quite got to the level that he was hoping for. Kim McDonough started up a restaurant, and Razor Sharp worked for some type of factory for a long time. And it's not until Kevin Hart, who's kind of this big promoter, approaches both Razor Sharp and Kim McDonough for this boxing video game that's currently in production that requires both Razor Sharp and Kim McDonough to go into the studio to do their motion capture work for the game since they play younger versions of themselves for this game. While there, Kim McDonough and Razor Sharp encounter each other, and a huge fight breaks out because they have this huge rivalry still against each other. They really don't like each other at all. They're both from Pittsburgh, so they both live in the same place, so that furthers the rivalry even more. So they have this huge fight that breaks out. It gets out onto the news, it gets out onto the internet, and basically people want to see that grudge match happen from all the way back finally happen between these two boxers, even though they've been retired for a very long time and have pursued other careers. Um, so basically, they both want to do it. They both want to have this fight each other against each other because it's been anticipated for so long. Um, but along the way, one of Sylvester Stallone's ex-lovers and one of Robert De Niro's ex-lovers, and as well as one of De Niro's kids, and a bunch of people who are important to their lives. They're either for or against this grudge match that's about to happen due to their age and due to they're worried about them getting hurt and everything. Um, so basically, the movie's also this is where kind of the comedy comes in too. They have a hard time promoting the match. There's some people who want to see it, but there's not enough people to get a full house ready for this boxing match. So throughout the movie, both Kim McDonough and Razor Sharp get a part of these marketing campaigns where they hope that they can get a bigger audience for this movie, or not for this boxing match is what I meant to say. Um, but basically, it's about these guys who finally get a chance to fight each other and declare who the real champion is amongst the two of them since they never had their official grudge match. I really like this movie, you guys. It definitely reminded me of like Rocky and Raging Bull. I gotta get my notes out quick. It definitely had that vibe to it. It definitely had a lot of Rocky references throughout the movie. You can definitely tell, like the meat locker scene and the scene where Stallone has to drink that cup of eggs, like he did in the original Rocky, to get protein into his system. Um, just a bunch of scenes in this film that really reminded me of like Raging Bull and Rocky, and like the whole who had an affair with what, and De Niro having these anger management problems like he did with the Raging Bull movie, and so it definitely was very nostalgic in that sense. So for the positives and negatives of Grudge Match, you guys, I love the well-established cast of characters, and I love their deep boxing bios. LL Cool J was in the movie. He definitely had a well-established background with Kid McDonough. Kim Basinger, who was kind of the ex-wife of Stallone and the ex-lover of De Niro. It kind of goes into detail on why she's kind of was involved with both of their lives. I really enjoyed the actor who played Robert De Niro's kid in this movie, who's a full-grown man at this point. De Niro also has a grandson in the movie from that kid. Um, just really well-established characters. This is definitely a film where you can definitely tell they spent a lot of time developing these characters, so we can really understand where they're coming from with everything. I loved the many Rocky and Raging Bull references throughout the movie. Like I said, like the drinking of the eggs and the meat locker room, and De Niro having his anger management problems, and the whole thing with the sexual affair kind of reminded me of the thing with him and Joe Pesci in Raging Bull. Um, Alan Arkin and Kevin Hart give great comedic performances in this. Alan Arkin plays Razor Sharp's mentor, his trainer for the boxing match. He has a bunch of really funny moments in this movie, as well as Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart and him definitely steal the show, specifically when they're working together in a scene. I think they both work really well together. Um, there's some reversed Rocky and Raging Bull moments. I liked how there was moments where you're like, okay, well, it might go the Rocky direction where this is going to happen, and this might go the Raging Bull direction where this is going to happen. And I liked how they kind of reversed them. It's just like, there's scenes where something that would normally happen in Raging Bull happens to Stallone, and something that would normally happen in a Rocky movie would happens to De Niro at some points. So I kind of liked that reverse approach they had for some of the scenes here. I thought that was very unique. I loved the goofy promotions they had for their fight. I think one of the better ones in the movie was a scene that involved them parachuting off a plane and Stallone finding out that whoever reaches the bottom first gets more money by the end of the grudge match, whether they won or lost. So that was very clever. And there's a bunch of other goofy promotions that they do throughout the movie to promote their fight since they need more people to attend the fight. Um, like I was saying before, I liked all the scenes where Robert De Niro and his son were interacting with each other. It got very dramatic, very serious. You could definitely tell it was two professional actors working that scene out for those moments, just because it was this they had so much good chemistry. You really got this impression that they were this disconnected father and son, and it was just every scene that they had together. I thought was very good in the movie. Um, for the negatives of the movie, you guys, I think overall, as far as how they executed and approached the movie, I think definitely would have been better off as just a straight up sports drama with less comedic elements. You could definitely tell they were aiming more for a comedy in this movie. It was definitely a comedic drama movie. I think they could have dropped the comedy out altogether. Kind of like with the Rocky films, maybe have a joke every once in a while, because even the Rocky films did that on occasion, specifically whenever Paulie was in a scene in those movies. I think they could have just done something like that and just leave the comedy out of it. I think this definitely would have been better off as just a straight up sports drama that definitely could have been taken seriously like a Rocky or a Raging Bull. I think the film, even not even a spoof of Rocky and Raging Bull, I think this could have been a better, like, maybe take that idea of Rocky and Raging Bull and, just make a whole new, unique original sports drama out of those two movies. I think they could have done a much better job if they went that direction with this. Though Peter Segal, I know, is a comedy director, I think this would have been a great opportunity for him to kind of get out of that boundary, for him to be able to try something else besides comedy. I think that would have been a great opportunity for him as a director, but I guess not in this case. Um, there were some small plot holes and plot cheats in this movie, specifically how they were able to get more people to be there at the boxing match and how they were able to get more money for the boxing match, and small plot cheats like how the overall winner was decided near the end of the movie. I thought that was kind of a little bit of a cheat. Because there was definitely a point in the boxing match at the end where it's like, okay, well, this person for sure is going to win, or okay, now this person for sure is going to win. They definitely go in a direction that if you've seen Rocky or Raging Bull, if you know those films well enough, you'll probably know the direction they'll go in with the final scene of the movie. But um, I also thought that Robert De Niro seemed to be a little bit more center stage than Stallone was. I would have liked to see like an equal importance between these two men because throughout the movie there was a lot of times where De Niro had a ton of screen time and then Stallone's screen time would happen and then it would be very very minimal compared to De Niro's. And I think if this film really wants to show that both of these men are equally important, um, I think it would have been best if Stallone and De Niro had equal screen time because I definitely felt De Niro had more screen time in this than Stallone did. Maybe just he was around more for the production, or maybe I know Sly Stallone's working on a bunch of movies right now, and even around the time the film was made. But if they could have found a way to make both of them feel like they had equal amount of screen time, I think that would have been best. But I guess that wasn't the case here. Overall, guys, I do give Grudge Match an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a very fun movie. Like I said, I think if they just made it more of a sports drama than a comedy, I think more people would like it because it seems like a lot of critics right now are hating on it. I think it's a very good movie. Like I said, I think just people went into it expecting something else. Go into it knowing that this is a boxing comedy. If you go into this expecting a serious sports drama, I think you'll be disappointed just because there is a ton of comedy in this movie, or at least attempted comedy. Like I said, the small plot holes, the small plot cheats kind of get in the way at times. And the fact that De Niro seemed to have more screen time than Stallone was pretty unfair to me, in my opinion. I would have liked to have seen, like I said, a film that had equal importance between these two men. Um, and like I said, I think if they just went with a serious sports drama, I think a lot of people would have liked this more, and rather than more so the comedy route. But like I said, Grudge Match 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a very good film. I think it's at least better than Rocky 5. I know that's not saying a lot for a lot of people. Definitely not better than the original Rocky, and definitely not better than Raging Bull. But um, I think it's a very good film. If you like Rocky, if you like Raging Bull, if you just like the boxing sport in general, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this film. And like I said, go into this movie knowing that it's going to be a boxing comedy and not a serious film. Because if you do take it seriously, it may not be as fun. But if you go into it with the right intentions, Grudge Match can be a lot of fun.